Have you ever finished answering an interview question and suddenly thought, oh no, I talked too much? Maybe you kept explaining. Maybe you added one more story, then another example, and before you knew it, 2 minutes had passed. Many people think the more I speak, the more impressive I sound. Actually, the opposite is often true. Interviewers are busy. They ask questions because they want clear information. They don't need your entire life story. They need the right information. Many candidates lose job opportunities because they talk too much. They tell long stories. They give unnecessary details. They repeat the same idea again and again. They answer questions that were never asked, and sometimes they forget the original question completely. Then interviewers start thinking, this person can't communicate clearly. This person doesn't understand priorities. This person may waste time in meetings. This person may struggle to explain ideas to customers or colleagues. Remember, good communication is not about speaking longer. It's about speaking clearly. It's about answering the question directly, and it's about knowing when to stop. A short, relevant answer often sounds more professional than a long, confusing one. Today, I'm going to show you 5 mistakes that make candidates talk too much in interviews and what to say instead. Because in interviews, you don't get hired because you talk more. You get hired because you communicate better. Let's begin. Let's start with mistake number 1. This is probably the most common mistake in job interviews. Almost everyone has done this at least once. The interviewer asks one simple question, "Tell me about yourself." And suddenly, you start talking about your entire life. Let's see an example. Interviewer, "Tell me about yourself." Bad answer. "Well, I was born in a small town. I have 2 sisters. My parents own a restaurant. When I was a child, I liked drawing." The interviewer didn't ask for your life story. They didn't ask, where were you born? How many siblings do you have? What did you enjoy as a child? They want to know, who are you professionally? What experience do you have? Why are you a good fit for this position? Many candidates talk too much because they think, the more I tell them about myself, the more they will know me. Actually, the opposite often happens. The interviewer becomes confused, and they start wondering, when is this answer going to end? Remember, your answer should help the interviewer hire you. Every sentence should be relevant to the job. If the information doesn't help you get the position, don't include it. Better answer. I'm currently working as a customer service representative with 3 years of experience, and I'm looking for an opportunity to continue developing my communication and problem-solving skills. Short, professional, relevant. This answer immediately tells the interviewer who you are, what experience you have, what you want next. That's enough. Now, let's move to mistake number 2. This mistake usually happens when candidates are nervous. They think, if I explain everything, my answer will sound better. Actually, too much information creates less clarity. Let's look at an example. Interviewer, why did you leave your last job? Bad answer. My manager changed, then another manager came, then we had a meeting, then there was a project, then my schedule changed. The interviewer becomes confused. They can't find the main point. Many candidates believe more details make my answer more believable. But interviewers don't want every chapter of the story. They want the reason, the main point, the answer. The more unnecessary details you give, the more opportunities you create to sound negative, emotional, or unprofessional. Sometimes candidates talk so much that they accidentally start complaining about their former company. And that's dangerous because interviewers may think, if this person joins our company and leaves one day, will they talk about us this way too? Better answer. I left because I was looking for more growth opportunities and new challenges. Simple, clear, professional. One sentence. The interviewer understands immediately. Remember, good communication is saying the most important thing, not saying everything. Here comes mistake number 3. This one happens because candidates want to impress the interviewer. They want to show all their skills, so they keep adding more information. Unfortunately, they answer questions nobody asked. Let's see an example. Interviewer, can you work under pressure? Bad answer. Yes, by the way, I also know Excel, PowerPoint, social media marketing, graphic design. The interviewer asked 1 question. You answered 5 questions. This makes you sound nervous and unfocused. It can also make interviewers think, this person doesn't listen carefully. Remember, listening is also a communication skill. If they ask about pressure, talk about pressure. If they ask about teamwork, talk about teamwork. Stay focused. Better answer. Yes, in my previous role, I often handled multiple tasks and tight deadlines, so I'm comfortable working under pressure. Perfect, because it answers exactly what was asked. Nothing more, nothing less. Stay focused. Answer only the question. Now, let's talk about mistake number 5. Many candidates think, if I repeat something many times, the interviewer will believe me. Unfortunately, that's not how interviews work. Interviewers trust evidence, not repetition. Let's look at this example. Bad answer. I'm hardworking. I work very hard. I always try my best. I really work hard. Repeating doesn't make your answer stronger. Actually, it makes your answer sound empty. Because anyone can say, I'm hardworking, I'm responsible, I'm a leader. Words are easy. Examples are powerful. Interviewers want proof. They want evidence. Don't tell them repeatedly that you're hardworking. Show them. Give 1 example, 1 real situation, 1 result. Better answer. I'm hardworking. For example, I once completed an urgent project 2 days before the deadline. That's much stronger. Immediately, the interviewer can picture you working hard. 1 example is more powerful than repeating the same words 5 times. Remember, don't just describe yourself, prove yourself. And finally, we have mistake number 5. This may be the biggest reason people talk too much in interviews. Many candidates start talking, but they don't know where their answer is going. They answer 1 question, then they remember another story, then another detail, then another example. They become nervous, and they keep talking. The answer becomes long, messy, and difficult to understand. After 2 minutes, even they don't remember the original question. This usually happens because they have no structure. Without a structure, your brain keeps searching for more information, and your mouth keeps talking. The solution is very simple. Use a structure. A structure creates confidence. A structure helps you stay focused. A structure helps the interviewer understand you. Use this simple formula. Point, example, result. Example, I'm a fast learner. In my previous role, I learned new software in 1 week and helped my team reduce processing time by 20%. Point, I'm a fast learner. Example, I learned new software in 1 week. Result, we reduced processing time by 20%. Done. Professional answers don't need to be long. They need to be organized. Remember, you don't get hired because you talk more. You get hired because you communicate better. Because interviewers are not measuring how many words you can say. They're measuring how clearly you can think. And clear thinking creates clear communication. Before we finish today's lesson, let's remember one important idea. People who talk too much in interviews usually make 3 mistakes. First, they talk about the past too much. Second, they explain too much. And third, they forget the real purpose of the question. Remember, An interview is not a conversation about your whole life. It is not a storytelling competition, and it is not an English exam. Interviewers are simply asking themselves, can this person communicate clearly? Can this person stay focused? Can this person organize their thoughts? The candidates who get hired are usually the people who can do this: answer the question, give one example, stop. That's it. Short answers are not weak answers. They're often the strongest answers because confidence sounds calm, confidence sounds clear, and confidence knows when to stop talking. So next time you're in an interview, remember this simple rule: answer, explain, stop. Because sometimes the difference between getting hired and getting rejected is not what you say, it's knowing when to stop saying it. Today, you learned something very important. Interviewers don't expect perfect English. They don't expect long answers, and they don't expect you to talk for 3 minutes. They want answers that are clear, relevant, easy to understand. Remember, long answers don't always sound smart. Long answers often sound confusing. When you talk too much, you may give unnecessary details, you may forget the original question, and you may make the interviewer lose interest. Next time you're in an interview, remember, talk less, say more. Answer the question, give one example if necessary, then stop. Because communication is not about using many words. Communication is about making your message easy to understand. A short, focused answer is often more powerful than a long, messy answer. Remember, you don't get hired because you talk more. You get hired because you communicate better. If you enjoyed today's lesson, like this video. Comment below. Do you usually talk too much or too little in interviews? And don't forget to subscribe to Focus English with Cece for more job interview and workplace English lessons. Thank you so much for learning with me today. I'm Cece, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye, everyone.